Now the release of Destined Rivals has been and gone, the hype is dying down. Everyone is now getting ready for the next two sets dropping, Black Bolt and White Flare. Now, of course, they are dropping in July, and we do have the Japanese sets now out in full swing, and the set looks pretty impressive that I've heard of. Anyway, I haven't seen the cards. I've only heard about all of the illustration rares that you can get. I think I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 cards from the set, but not a huge amount. And today we'll be going through all of that. So I'll be giving you my honest thoughts and opinions on the upcoming Black and White set. We'll be looking at the Japanese cards, of course. I'll be going to English, and then I'll be going through what I think is going to happen regarding this set and my thoughts and opinions as well. I do want to open up the Japanese set. It is a little bit too expensive, really, right now. You're looking around £80 to £85 a box. My opinion, I think, is a little bit too pricey. But, you know, I do want to open it up and have some fun when the price drops a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to be looking at the whole set today, and we're going to be seeing what has been going on with Black and White. And I'm intrigued. There's a lot of illustration rares in the set, and hopefully we've got some really cool ones. So let's jump in. Okay, we're looking at PokeJace today. We've got all 176 Black Bolt and White Flare secret rares and pull rates revealed, which is going to be really, really interesting. So it says the secret rares from the Black Bolt and White Flare sets are now being posted to social media while the set's now out and people are cracking open the packs left, right, and center. It says, in addition to the regular cards, each of the 156 Unova Pokemon will get a illustration rare or special illustration rare. This marks the first time every Pokemon in a set will get this treatment. I hope it happens again in the future with future sets, because that would be absolutely amazing. You never know, they like doing these little gimmicks, and that's pretty much exclusive for that set. You got Pokeballs and Master Balls coming back again. I'm not a huge fan of these. I mean, it was cool during 151 because at the time it was a bit different and a bit unique. And then Prismatic kind of made it a bit bad, really. You know, put a sour taste in people's mouths. And then we got these really cool like rarity cards, or so to say, promos, rarity cards. Reshiram is by far my favorite out of these. Then in July 18th, we have the English releases. So they're releasing 2 sets side by side of each other. So let's take a look at each one of these, and I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions. So we got the Black Bolt secret rares. It's going to be interesting to see how they divided these up, especially when it comes to like starter Pokemon, things like that. So we got the Snivy and we got the Servine. I actually like both of those. These are very, very nice. Pansage, not a huge fan of those type of Pokemon. Petilil and the Lilligant, both very, very nice. I'm a huge fan of illustration rares, by the way. Huge fan. Maractus, we had that recently, didn't we? Like joining together. Carablast, that's not too bad. Fungus and Amoongus, that's interesting. Then we've got Victini. I'm pretty sure that's a promo, isn't it? I think in a collection box that's coming for English, which is cool. Very nice card. Darumaka, extremely colourful. Domanitan, Litwick, that's quite nice. Lampant, Chandelure, I like that Chandelure. Then you got Larvesta and Volcarona. I like that. That's really cool. I like like the Jurassic vibes to that. That looks pretty cool. I do like that. Pampor, Simipour, not a huge fan. Timepole, that's quite a nice artwork of Timepole. Then you got Palpitoad and good old Crazy Frog, Seismitoad coming in. Then we got the Tortuga, alright, and then we got the Caracosta. That one's quite nice. Then we got the good old fish, always a fish, always. Cubchoo, interesting art. That kind of looks out of place. It looks kind of strange. Beartic, I like that, but I like ice type Pokemon, so that's a really cool one. Cryogonal, that one's not too bad. Emolga, that's a nice art. Dynamo, that's a really cool unique art. I like this. That's something a bit different. Electros, okay. Thunderous, I'm pretty sure that's a promo. I think it's an ETB promo. You got the Munna, okay, all right. Nothing too crazy so far. But you know, some of these are looking pretty nice, I must admit, and it's nice to see illustration rares coming through pretty much for everything. That Golurk is quite interesting. Looks like it's got like no arms. Then you got Timber coming in. We had that quite recently from a set. Girder and Conkeldurr. All right. Fro. Yep. We've had Dwebble. Yep. Crossall. We had that quite recently. Landorus. I think that might be a promo in English. Venipede. Okay. Whirlipede. There's a few cards or a few Pokemon that I'm not a huge fan of in the black and white era. Sandile. Crocorock. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Crocodile. That looks nice as well. Volibee, Mandibuzz, yep, Excavalier. These ones don't look too bad. Pawniard Bishop looks pretty cool. Yeah, so does the Cobalion. Axu, that's quite nice. I like dragon type Pokemon. Fraxer, Haxorus looks sick. Oh, I like that one. That's pretty cool. Pidove, Tranquil, Unpheasant. Very cool. That's lovely art. I like that little birdie. That's pretty cool. Oh, we got the crochet ones. We got the Ordino crochet. That's cool. I like that. They got the Mencino and Cincino. Both very nice. Then we got full arts. Oh, I'm not a fan of full arts. I like the full arts they did from like Journey Together and Destined Rivals, but the old full arts are a bit boring. You got Superior. Okay, Kyurem, Zekrom. I'm not a huge fan. We only got a couple of full art trainers. Then we got the special illustration rares. So we got the Superior EX. That one's not too bad. Kyurem, holy smokes, that card looks insane. I'm a huge fan of Dragon type and Ice type Pokemon, and Kyurem for me is one of my favorites when it comes to like legendaries. That looks incredible. Zekrom looks really nice as well. Mellowell, that's quite nice artwork. Exadrill, that's interesting. They gave Exadrill a special illustration man. Then we've got Genesect, not breakdancing this time. Ends Plot, it's quite a nice little portrait art there. And then of course we got the Zekrom. So that one's from Black Bolt. Interesting. Overall, how good do I think this is? I think there's definitely some nice ones. Some nice illustration rares in Black Bolt. I think the special illustration rares especially are pretty good. Like that Zekrom and Kyurem for me, wow, look absolutely incredible. But the rest look okay, but those two, ooh, very, very cool. Okay, on to White Flare. So we've got some of the other starter Pokemon, I think, probably coming up. You've got Swaddle, Swadloon, okay, so a lot of grass type. A lot of grass and bug, isn't there? Cottony, Deerling, Sawsbuck, that's very different. I like the Deerling, but that's very different to what we saw in, I believe, is it Paradox or Temporal, where we saw the two of them and it was super colourful. Shelmet, yeah, I mean, some of these, Virizion looks okay. Okay, so here's some of the other starter Pokemon. So we've got Tepig, Pignite, Emboar coming through. So Emboar's not getting a special illustration rare treatments. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, of course, Pansear, Simisear, yep, Heatmore. Same with, wow, so you got the Oshawott and the Dewott and the Samurott, but Samurot's not getting a special illustration rare either, just a normal art rare. Interesting. Nice lineup though, very, very cool. Then you got Basculin, Ducklet that always looks like it's seen some crazy stuff. Swanna, I quite like that, that's quite nice, I do like that. Vanillite, Vanillux, a lot of ice cream. I like them, they're pretty cool, they're pretty fun. Blitzel, that was not too bad. Zeb Striker, that's a pretty epic. That's a pretty epic artwork, I like that. Joltik, I'm pretty sure has like half a dozen illustration rares at this point. Just keeps getting them, I don't know why. Galvantula, creepy. Stunfisk, lame Pokemon. Woobat coming in. We've got Swoobat as well, okay. Yeah, Sigiglyph, yeah. Yamask. Okay, so we've got some nice ones. Oh, we've got a good old Rock and Rollers. Frillish. I don't know what, I think the illustration rares in this one's not as good. Gigalith, okay, not too bad. Then we got the fossil type Pokemon coming in. Minefu, Mineshout, that one's quite nice. Terrakion, yeah, Purloin, that's adorable. Okay, Lipard, I like that one as well. Scraggy, Scrafty, yep. Good old Trubbish. Zora, that's very nice. I like that. Zoroark, wow. Okay, that one's pretty cool. Dino the Dino. Suelius, okay. Ferroseed, Ferrothorn. Not bad. Clink, Clang. That's like a toy. Durant, okay. Druddigon, okay, that was pretty cool. Packrat, not a fan. Not a fan of some of these. Lillipup, that's pretty adorable. Herdia Stoutland, yeah, of course. Rufflet, Braviary, Tornadoes. I think this one's a promo. I don't know. I always forget which one. So onto the full arts. I'm not a fan of these full arts. So yeah, these look pretty bad in my opinion. Again, two more trainers, and then we got into the special illustration rares. So we got Whimsicott. I like the colours of that one. It's not too bad. Reshiram, that looks cool. Wow, the Reshiram and the Zekrom look absolutely incredible. Keldeo, that's quite nice. I love the colours. That is super colourful. Oh, this graded would look amazing. Jellicent, that one's a bit naff. Hydreigon, that looks epic as well. Looks a lot like the Zekrom with that thunder and everything. I like that. That's pretty cool. Bufalon, interesting choice. Kilda, and of course Reshiram. I'm probably going to give it to Black Bolt, in all honesty. I mean, there are definitely some in both I like, but I don't know. I think the special illustration rares in Black Bolt appealed to me more, but I don't know. I do feel like they're both very, very cool. So we have here pull rates. So you've got 20 packs rather than 30, with 4 illustration rares, 1 Master Ball, and either a full art or special illustration rare. That's not too bad. You're getting quite a lot of hits. So you could get a chance to get the Pokeball Reverse, Master Ball, Illustration Rare, an EX, full art, special. Okay, so you can get like double banger packs, which is quite nice, from the 20 pack boxes, which is very, very cool. It says this set will be the first to feature deluxe packs that come with 35 cards instead of 7. They come with a guaranteed illustration rare. Otherwise, we're not sure about their pull rates yet. Wow. Interesting to see the price difference. As expected, the set will have god packs that come with a bunch of secret rares. We don't know the breakdown yet. I like that. I always think having god packs and stuff is just super cool. It was really nice. And then, yeah, pretty much, I think that's going to be pretty much the whole set. My thoughts and opinions on it, I like it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Black and White era, but I am a huge fan of illustration rares, and having to sell 2 sets that has so many and feature every single Pokemon from that generation, I kind of wish we have this with all of them, right? Like, could you imagine just Gen 1 getting this treatment, or even 2? 3 is my favorite, so that would be amazing. But overall, I'm kind of excited regarding this, which is really, really good. And then finally, we're going to talk about a little bit more about Black Bolt and White Flare. They're printing more. Japan have been on top of it, right? They've been really good on top of it, keeping products hitting the market, right? I mean, the English version of stuff has just been so bad. There'll be sold in Japan starting from mid-July to August and thereafter, so summer. This is what we're talking about, more reprints. Hopefully we get this for English with a bunch of other sets as well. But like I said, they're normally on top of it. And so I expect prices to start falling, because you're going to start getting people getting their orders as soon as possible, which is always good. It says here, the company states that regardless of whether they make public announcements, they're always working to print more of the products their customers want, and are continuously strengthening their production. Doesn't happen for English by the looks of it. But yeah, there was going to be no stock for older sets, which was going to be pretty good. But yeah, they've been on top of it. They've been doing really well. So expect prices to fall. So don't pay silly prices for these. But overall, I'm intrigued. So that is Black Bolt and White Flare, looking at what is going to be in both sets, really. I was about to say the set, but no, there's 2. For me, I think Black Bolt takes it. I mean, Black Bolt is actually a little bit more expensive at the moment in pre-orders compared to White Flare. Not by much, maybe by like 10%. But it is, you know, a little bit more pricey. I haven't opened up the Japanese set yet, but I want to. What are my thoughts and opinions on Black Bolt and White Flare? I think it will do well, but don't expect it to be like a prismatic. I don't think it's going to be a prismatic. I don't think it's even going to be like Destined Rivals level. I kind of feel like after this set, we're going to start seeing things cool off. I don't think this is going to be as hyped as some people I've seen put out to be. It is exciting that we're getting all of the illustration rares. That is pretty cool. But in my opinion, I do feel like as far as specialty sets are concerned, in the Scarlet and Violet era, top dog is by far Prismatic, and then closely followed by 151. And then I would even say Paladin Fates, potentially. It all depends on the pull rates of this. Like, if you get pull rates like you did Baby Shinies in Paladin Fates, then I would probably say this might be better. But it will depend. But I really like Paladin Fates, and I think a lot of people do, especially with the Bubble Mew and Charizard and stuff. But it'd be interesting to see how well both of these sets will do. And I think which one will do better in the long run, right? I think it's probably going to be Black Bolt, but that's my own personal preference, just for what's in the set. But overall, I'm really excited. If it's fun of the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. Guys, let me know your favorite card or Pokemon from these 2 sets, or which set is your favorite. There's a ton of illustration rares in this set, ton. But Kyurem takes it for me. That special illustration rare, incredible. Like, they smashed out of the park. There's definitely some artworks where I'm like, it's a little bit sketchy. Especially, you've seen illustration rares of not hugely popular Pokemon, like Trubbish. But it's, hey, look, I want them to do it for older sets now as well. It'd be cool to get some of the older generations, like Gen 2, Gen 3 and stuff like that, to get similar treatments, because that would be amazing down the line. But that's it from me, guys, in today's video. If you want more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on screen. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.